Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Endurance School. We are super excited to be joined here tonight by Emma Abrahamson. Emma, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Of course, I'm excited to be on.
I have a couple of background details to fill everybody in on if they've not yet met you via one of your social media sites. So for those of you who are new to Emma, she was born and raised in San Diego, California. She began her athletic career as a competitive swimmer. It's very close to my heart, at the age of 4. After consistently winning the Junior Carlsbad mile races, she was stolen by the running community, and she competed at the national and the National Junior Olympic level. As a high schooler, she was ranked in the top 20 nationally. She went on to run for the University of Oregon, where she earned a place on their travel team on all 4 years and helped her team secure the NCAA cross-country national championship in 2016. Her college personal bests include running 2:10 in the 800, 4:18 in the 1500, 4:39 in the mile, and 20:26 in the 6K cross country. Emma details her training and life on her honest and engaging YouTube site, and she recently launched a podcast called Convos Over Cold Brew. After deciding to pursue triathlon, Emma joined CBCG earlier this year and is waiting patiently for the chance to get to race. Her coach wants her to know that she now wishes that more of her athletes would give regular video feedback of their training. Emma, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Of course. Yeah, everyone should start a YouTube channel. That's the moral of the story. So.
I love it. Anytime I wonder how it went, I can see.
Yeah, exactly. Good to do during quarantine, too, when we can't see each other. So.
Exactly.
You can see me virtually, but it's a one-way conversation.
Sometimes it's better that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Emma, thank you for being here. I'm super stoked to get to talk to you a little bit more. We launched all of these shows with the same question. The show is called Detention. You are not too far removed from your high school years. What did you go to detention for, if you ever did?
I never went to detention. I was a goody two-shoes. Like, I will say that. I was like too much of a goody two-shoes, honestly. I remember getting like a red card in elementary school and it traumatized me forever. So.
Do you remember what you got it for?
I was like talking really loud or something. I don't know. I have a loud voice, so that was probably it. Talking too much, or that was probably it. That's such a boring answer.
You had a very strict youth soccer league. Like what did they was it soccer?
No, it wasn't soccer. It was in class. I should preface that. I was like, soccer?
I don't know anything about how strict they were.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't a part of that.
What other colored cards could you get in class?
Well, it was like red, yellow. If you had like a green card for the day, it was like good. But then I got like a red card one day. And you could have like yellow was like a warning, and then the red card was bad, and then you had to like talk to the teacher after or something. I don't remember. But I do remember it scarred me, so. Ever since then, that time in 3rd grade, I've been goody two-shoes.
You've never done anything bad again.
No, never in my life.
Not once.
All right, well, you are now in the, most of our guests seem to be goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
So you're in good company.
I have noticed a lot of endurance athletes are pretty well-mannered and goody two-shoes.
I was just going to say
this.
I think the athletes are. For some reason, the coaches have not been, and the race directors are certainly not.
There you go. It's telling.
Yep, exactly. So another one that we usually dig into, so Chris and I started the Endurance School. It's kind of our COVID project. It's definitely been a weird year, but it's left us with some time to create some new stuff. What have you been able to do this year that you wouldn't have had time for otherwise?
Starting the podcast was a huge thing. Awesome. It's always been in the back of my mind, and I was like, just never made the move to do it, because starting a huge, like, a new platform is a huge undertaking, because you don't know what you're doing most of the time.
Right.
I didn't know if I wanted to have, like, a co-host, or if I wanted to do it myself, and I knew I just couldn't do it only me, so I have guests on all the time. It's just, like, a huge undertaking to, like, I don't know, have to communicate with other people and stuff. You guys know, obviously, by doing this. But, yeah, starting the podcast was a huge one for me, and it's gone really well, which I guess I wasn't really expecting, but I don't know, it's a pleasant surprise for me. And that and starting to work on my like food ebook. It's something I've been saying that I would do for 3 years, and I have started it and stopped, like started and stopped doing it probably 5 times. So towards like, I don't know, the last couple months or so, I've had been thinking about it more, and in the last like 2 months I've been working on it full time. So
tell us more about that ebook. Like, what is going to be in it? Like, what is the goal of it? What do you hope your readers will get out of it?
Yeah, so it's basically just going to be kind of all my like base recipes that I eat all the time, and the recipes are super simple. So I like to cook, but not that much. Like, I don't like it to be super involved. I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen. So what I want people to get out of the ebook is just like my staple recipes that are super easy to like take on the go, meal prep, or just like have super quick like before your workout or after your workout, because I don't like spending hours in the kitchen after I work out. It's like my least favorite thing to do. So yeah, I guess just like it's kind of combines all the things that I have on my food Instagram into one ebook that people can just look through, because that's some of the feedback I've gotten is like, since I post almost every day on my food Instagram, recipes get lost and people don't end up making them. And then some people have like told me that they want something either like a website or something like an ebook that they can like search through. And the website is something I want to do too, but that is another huge undertaking. It's just like starting a recipe blog is a lot of work. So maybe in the future, but for now I'm starting with the ebook.
What are some of your favorite recipes? Can you tell us about what you eat when you do have the time to make something?
Yeah, so all of my recipes are pretty simple. Like, I would say none of them have more than 10 ingredients, awesome. Which is still a lot. A lot of them have like 5. But like black bean brownies are some of my favorites. It's like that's like one of my staple recipes, and it may sound gross, but they're delicious. Don't knock it till you try it, okay? And then I also make this is like, it's all about beans. I also make chickpea energy balls, and so it has garbanzo beans in it, but they're really good, and they taste like little cookie dough bites. And then I also make avocado brownies. Those are really good. I don't know if those are going to be in the ebook though or not. I have to decide. And then I make like a good egg skillet. I don't know. But those are like, if I'm like going the baking route, the black bean brownies is by far my favorite one.
Haven't you, so okay, you just said it's all about beans.
It's not all about beans.
No, but like...
That's the name of your book, though.
Yeah, the name is Beans.
Nothing but beans. Why? Like, why are you drawn to those as sort of like the medium of some of the stuff that you make? Like, what does that provide you in terms of fuel?
Well, I think I've just like found what kind of makes me feel good and what makes me feel full, because I have a big appetite. So once I like made black bean brownies for the first time, I like realized that this was like a snack. I mean, it's like a dessert, but it's healthy. You could eat it. It's like a snack. And it doesn't leave you feeling like a huge sugar crash later, or you don't feel like super hyped up. I just feel really full when I eat them. So I've learned that beans help keep me really full. So that's why I like to cook with them. And because honestly, they're pretty like versatile, though. It's when people eat beans, they don't really think of it as like a sweet, but they're actually like pretty bland. When you throw other ingredients into it, it really masks the flavor of it. But I would say, like, if you don't eat healthy already, you might taste the beans a little more. Some of my friends that like don't eat that healthy, they're like, I don't really love this. But I feel like if you eat healthy, like, you like the beans in the recipes.
A place I used to work, to get the kids to eat beets, the head cook would like shred beets and like mix it into chocolate cake, and it was amazing. Like, you couldn't really taste the beets, but it was like mostly beet chocolate cake.
I think
that's crazy, because beets have a strong flavor.
Yeah, it somehow worked. Like the sweetness of the beets, like it just sort of tasted a little earthier. But yeah, that was another, I think, similar kind of approach.
That's the original red velvet cake. Yeah, red velvet cake was a chocolate beet cake.
I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah.
I have not put beets into my recipes. I've like used them in smoothies maybe a couple times for, I don't even know what they do, to be honest. But just throw them in there, and I like the color. It's beautiful color, so.
Mm-hmm.
But it is strong flavor.
And what about the podcast? Tell us more about what your podcast project's been about.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty impulsive when it comes to things. So I have been thinking about a podcast for a while, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start it. And I like didn't lay out anything of really what it was gonna be about or what I was really gonna talk about. I mean, I obviously knew it was gonna be a background of running, considering that's kind of been like what the industry I've been in, I guess, if that's the right term.
Mm-hmm.
But it started like I was doing a couple solo episodes. I had an episode with my sister, and then I was like getting my old teammates on the podcast, and obviously we were talking a lot about running, kind of reminiscing on old memories. And then I started including my friends, maybe who lived in Portland, who also happen to be runners. So now it's like really turned into a full-fledged running podcast, which I do really love, but I kind of also want to branch out and kind of make it more of like a lifestyle thing, because there's like so many running podcasts already out there, and like I love their podcast too, and I just don't want to repeat the same stories over and over again. So this is what I've been thinking about lately, is just kind of branching out and how I'm gonna kind of go about that. But it's been super interesting to hear like even just my friends stories and like backgrounds in running. And one of my main goals for like all of my content over the past couple of years has kind of been to help expand the running world beyond like the little niche that it is. And I mean, it's still pretty niche right now, but I think like by using my platforms on like YouTube and the podcast a little bit kind of helps give more background and personality to a lot of the professional runners that are out there that maybe don't like use social media that often. So it's been fun to like hear their stories and have them come on, and also see the feedback from listeners who maybe have never heard of like one of these athletes and being like, oh my gosh, now they're one of my favorites. I'm like so glad I get to follow their journey or whatever. So it's been really insightful for me, and just I don't know, it's a fulfilling way to kind of help grow the running world. So, and hopefully beyond that too, eventually.
Who are 3 guests that you would love to get on your podcast, and why?
Oh gosh, I was having a conversation with my friend who's living with me right now in Flagstaff, and we were like brainstorming guests on, and we talked about Shalane Flanagan. I think she'd be a really good one because she's now retired, and it would be interesting to kind of hear her perspective on professional running and what she's doing now and how life is. I want to talk to Usain Bolt at some point. I've never spoken with him in my life. I don't think I maybe have talked to Shalane one time. I don't even remember. But Usain Bolt would be a fun guest. I don't even know what we would talk about. Gosh, I don't even know another one. I have like a list of them on my phone, but a lot of them are just my friends. I haven't really thought about expanding outside of my friends.
Is there somebody in like the lifestyle world, if you wanted to bridge it out to a lifestyle podcast, that you think would be great to do that?
That's what I've been thinking about. That's what me and my friend were brainstorming yesterday. Just kind of ways to kind of branch out of the running world and maybe get people who haven't, or like that still run but are also doing other things and maybe aren't like professional runners. He's another one of my friends, but who has like been inspiring in terms of like my own, I guess, content creator journey, is a guy named Trahan. He ran for Texas A&M, and then he quit. He dropped out of college and pursued YouTube full time, and now he has like 2.5 million subscribers. So it would be really cool to kind of hear his perspective, but that's like also really niche because it's like YouTube and running. I don't know, but I don't know. He's someone that I would like to get on eventually.
Are you aware that we have 250 subscribers here at the Endurance School?
Wow. Nice. Hey, you're building it.
That's right. That's right. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
So I have some questions for you about the cross-country world, where I know that you spent a fair amount of time, and that's, as people who have been in the endurance school community know about me, that is not a world that I'm super familiar with. Can you tell us a little bit about the 2016 National Championships and what that race was like and how that went down?
Yeah, man, I feel like I talk about this at least once a week. I probably have a conversation with it, like, about this topic with one of my teammates on that team at least once a month. Like, we bring it up.
Wow.
Just reminisce on the good old days, because it was just so shocking to all of us. So, basically, we had a really good team on paper. Like, we were probably ranked at least top 10 in the NCAA leading into the race. And, not leading into the race, leading into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just underperforming every race. It seemed like we were never doing that great. Like, just people were having off days. Like, no one was really putting it together on the right day. And at one point in the season, I thought that we weren't even going to make it to NCAAs, which, looking back, is funny to think about. But I was having a conversation with my dad, and he's like, you might have to try to qualify individually this year. And we actually like pulled it together enough to get an at-large bid into NCAAs, because we got 4th at Pac-12s, which we wanted to win, so that wasn't that good. And then we got 4th at regionals, which didn't automatically qualify us, but we kind of knew when we got 4th, we're like, okay, we made it to NCAAs. And then leading into NCAAs, like we never had a bad attitude about our races. Like we never got too down on ourselves, because we knew that we were a good team, and like on paper we were really good. And it was like a kind of a very lighthearted team. Like no one was too serious, which was, I think, what helped us succeed on the day. But we went into the race, and I remember the night before, we had like this team meeting with our sports psychologist, and he was like, okay, what's the goal tomorrow? And one of our teammates was like, win. And then the sports psychologist was like, all right, let's take a step back and focus on the process. So that was just kind of funny to look back on. And then race day came. It was horrible weather, the worst weather I've ever run in my life. It was in Terre Haute, Indiana. It had to be 20 degrees with the wind chill, and it was so windy. Like we were warming up in our puffer jackets, which I've also never done in my life. You couldn't hear anything because it was so windy, and no one was talking on the warm up because there was nothing to say, because everyone was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be crazy. And the gun goes off. My teammates shoot out like into the front pack. I'm like, whoa, what are you guys doing? Because every other race, people would die. So people would go out really hard, and then they would die. And then we would the 6th and 7th runner would pick up the scraps, you know? So when I saw everyone go out to the front, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? But then, so Colorado was like the clear leader of like the NCAA that season. They were expected to win, ranked number 1 all season long. And I remember being like, I don't know, 2K into the race and seeing their number 1 runner coming back to me. And I was in, I don't know, 80th maybe at that time. And I was like, and she was like supposed to win the race. And I was like, oh no, like this is crazy. Like the race was wild. And I think like I was like in the number 7th position. So I was the last person on my team. And once I got to 4K, I was like, okay, who's going to come back to me right now? And no one was like coming back. Like you could see them up in the distance. Everyone was like super strong. And I was like, wow, like I knew I wasn't having an off day. Like I was having a good day. And I'm like a 1500 runner, you know, I was like, I'm just happy to be here. And yeah, like we finished the race, and I was like, wow, like we didn't do bad. And that we like crossed the line, and everyone was like, wow, guys, we didn't suck this time. And that's like, our coach was super happy, because it was for the same reason, like we were all just really excited that we had like a good day. Like none of us had really off days. And then one of my friends, like fiancés, came into our tent and was like, I think you guys won. And then we're all like, what? Like we had no idea how we did. And then it took an hour to get the results, and then he came in again before our coach did and was like, you guys won. And then we had to like celebrate 3 times. My coach like came in 30 seconds later. We're like, yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. That was a really long explanation.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah. It was just crazy. It was wild, but it just kind of like shows you it's a lot about mindset on the day. Like the title was up for grabs, and I think just us having the mentality going into it, being like, you know, the weather might suck, but we're tough and we're gonna get through it together, and just kind of having that lighthearted attitude, not having a lot of pressure on us, I think really helped on the day.
How do you think you guys as a team arrived at that lighthearted culture?
I honestly don't know. I think it was just our personalities. Like everyone on the team was like that, needed like the lighthearted, I don't know, attitude, like going into workouts. Like no one was super intense, and everyone was obviously competitive. Like if you're running at that level, you're gonna be competitive and individually motivated. But I think everyone just genuinely cared about their teammates, and we all had really good friendships outside of running. Like we all lived together, and there wasn't that much drama on the team, and I think that really helped us on the day, like just working together, especially on that day, and like on the days that we weren't doing well, like just encouraging each other in the race. Like we were really into pack running, and you know, you would have like, I don't know, the 3 girls in the front who were, I don't know, getting top 20 at NCAAs, and then you had the 4 of us in the back who whoever had like the best day, like everyone was rooting for them, you know, and we genuinely didn't care like who placed where. It was just really about the team. So that was probably the most team-oriented team I had in college, and I think it just really showed in the results, like how much people cared about each other.
For those who have never experienced like a cross country race, could you kind of describe the way that, first of all, like the scoring system? Because I think a lot of people are like, what? What is this? And also just like, how does a cross country race usually unfold? Like, kind of walk us through the kind of phases of the race.
Yeah, so the lowest score wins in cross country, and so like first place gets 1 point, second place gets 2 points. It gets a little bit weird when you throw in like individuals and teams, so like points get strewn off a little bit, but that's like generally how it goes. So you want the lowest amount of points. Oh, also in the 2016 race, we won by 1 point over Michigan, which was also crazy. And like there was this epic picture of the girl on our team that got 5th place, which is the last scoring runner. You have 7 runners that run, and you have 5 that score. So you have a little bit of like leeway on the team. But our 5th runner was like out leaning some Michigan girl at the line. It was crazy, and it was the best picture ever. But yeah, low score wins. Five of your runners score the first 5. And in terms of like how races unfold, it's usually, it goes out hard, and then you kind of settle into a pace, and it's usually like just a huge pack of people. Like at NCAA's, there's 250 people running. It can be really overwhelming, and it takes a little while to get used to be honest. It takes a couple of races in that like environment to kind of feel comfortable running next to 250 people that are all really good. And you usually have it ever just like kind of strewn out evenly. I would say like 250 people strewn out evenly, and then at a certain point, I would say like 3K, you kind of have that first, I don't know, 20 runners or so kind of go off on their own, like they throw in a surge or something. Someone decides to make a move, and yeah, they like there's like a distinct probably 20, and it's just like it just kind of gets strewn out, and then once you get like, I don't know, past 30, I would say, people are just coming in like the masses. Like you're finishing within like 1 second of people, and it's like, I would say the spread between like 50th and 100th place at NCAA's, maybe 20 seconds, maybe. I would say probably closer to 15. You have like 50 people coming in within 15 seconds. It's wild, but yeah, it's a very tough environment, I would say, and it's not glamorous to be running in 100th place, but those places are the ones that matter the most. Like our 5th runner getting 60 something, like that's not a glamorous place to be like sprinting in for 65th place or whatever she finished in, but she was the one that basically won us the title, because they're the ones scoring the most points out of the 5 runners. So if that makes sense, I don't know, it's probably confusing to some people. It makes sense in my head, but yeah, that's generally how it goes.
Nice.
And how much does course make a difference?
I mean, flat courses are definitely faster, so people will go out fast from the gun.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if you're at like the NCAA level, or if you're running your conference meet, it's gonna be fast from the gun no matter what. Like it'll probably be more strewn out and little packs of people if it's a hillier race, just because, you know, people tend to die harder on those. But the like flat ones that I run, it's just like you're running on a grass track. Like they are running 5-minute pace. There's no let up, you know. It's the guns blazing from the start, and there's no like settling in. It's just 6K of pure effort.
So we can just keep coming back and forth across different topics and things like that. But you've shifted over to giving triathlon a try. Have you experienced anything yet in triathlon training that is like a similar intensity to like running training?
Yeah, I mean, the swim has been very recent, like, just getting back from the pool. I don't think I've experienced anything in terms of that, but the biking has definitely started to get up there. Like, I think the first thing that really I could compare the running training and the biking training was that 30-minute time trial that my coach here had me do.
You crushed it.
I was mentally preparing for a race that day, and like doing that 30-minute time trial, it just like reminded me of doing a tempo run, or I mean, it was probably harder than a tempo run, but yeah, I would say like the bike intensity is definitely starting to compare to what I would do running wise. it's still a different feeling. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just different pain in my legs. And maybe that will just come with experience. Like, I don't know, figure it out more. I feel like right now I can probably push myself the hardest on the run just because I know my physical limits. And I don't think I've pushed my physical limits on the bike yet to the point where I've like died. And I've like obviously died a lot in running because I've been doing it for so many years. But I mean, biking's starting to get out there. The intensity is definitely there.
So it's not exactly your the beginning of your triathlon career, though. You also had a successful career as a youth triathlete. Is that correct?
I mean, it's just successful. I guess it was successful. I would compete at like the USA Triathlon junior Olympics in Wisconsin Dells.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that was fun. Took home some like nice little glass trophies. Took a couple of top 10 finishes there. Way back in the day, it was like 2005, 2006-ish, maybe 2004. I don't even remember. So long ago now. But I also did some Iron Kid racing, which was in Arizona. Yeah, so that was mainly. I mean, I was not practicing on the bike at all back then. It was purely swimming and running, and the bike was just
something you brought.
Yeah, something we brought on the day.
What do you remember from that time? And is there anything that's carried over, or does it feel like a new sport as an adult?
It honestly feels like pretty similar. I mean, I am a lot different physically, so it feels different in terms of that. Like I feel like I had unlimited energy at that age, to be honest. I feel like I was never tired, but something I have noticed, and I noticed it last year when I was like, I trained for the Chicago Marathon for fun, basically, but I noticed that I was doing a lot of biking back then, and my legs feel really good off the bike. I don't know what it is, but like my heart rate also tends to be lower off the bike, and my legs just feel like great. Usually, a lot of the time, like I haven't really gone for like 3-hour bike rides and then a run, so maybe that would be pushing the limits. But like when I do 90-minute bike rides or like 2-hour bike rides, and then I run 30 to 40 minutes right after, I usually feel like great. And I don't know what that is, and I kind of remember that from my youth triathlon days. Like, I don't know, being able to just kind of like jump right into the next leg feeling fresh. And I don't know, I think the run will always feel pretty strong for me. And I remember back in the day just picking off a bunch of people on the runs. Hopefully that'll happen again as an adult, TBD.
Were you, when you were competing in junior triathlon, were you running on the side, or was running just something that you eventually decided, like, no, this is going to be the thing that I'm going to focus on? Like, I guess my question is the transition between the two sports.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. It's all kind of a blur. I feel like I don't even really remember the time period. I was like 10, 11-ish. But I definitely was running a little bit on the side. Like, that's kind of when I started getting into more running. I was still swimming competitively and going to, like, I don't know, our Junior Olympics, zones, Far Westerns, if anyone's familiar with that. But I would remember doing, like, 5-mile runs around, like, our swim complex before I went swimming, which now I'm looking back, I'm like, how did I do that? I was, like, 10. But again, I had unlimited energy at that age.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I think I was starting to get more into the youth running scene. I think that's kind of when I started joining, like, all right, that's when I joined the San Diego Roadrunners, which is like the USATF club that I eventually just went full-time with. So I think I was probably going to some of those practices as well, but the swimming was definitely the main focus during the time period of the triathlon stuff.
What strokes did you swim?
My best strokes was breaststroke, probably, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the IM was somehow a very good event, like the 200 IM. Yeah, but also the breaststroke I feel like was my best one. But then I was not good at the backstroke. That one is still rough for me to this day. And the freestyle was okay, you know. I would swim like the 200 free. I was never a sprinter. I was always the longer distance stuff. I wish I had the fast turnover, but never came through for me. So I was sentenced to the IM instead.
You do all right. So we have, I stole a picture from your Instagram of something that you posted about the time that you spent running in high school. So I'm going to pull that up really quick. If I can figure it out. There we go. So this is a picture of you at the same meet over all 4 years and winning, I think, the same meet over all 4 years of high school, starting out as a freshman and then ending up as a senior. And over the course of these 4 years, you grew 8 inches. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a crazy time period. Like, looking back at this photo, honestly, I mean, at the time, it's me, you know, I'm seeing myself in the mirror every day, I'm not really noticing all the changes, but then looking back at this photo, I'm like, wow, I was a completely different person, you know, from my senior year to my freshman year.
Yeah. So you got a great response from that, though. Can you tell us a little bit about what that response was like and you know, what that has meant to you?
Yeah, so it was very shocking, honestly. I think I made, honestly, this little pick stitch back in high school. Like, I just posted on my Instagram, like, back in 2014. It was like, or 2013 probably. It was like, Mount Carmel Invitational, like, all 4 years completed or whatever. And then I was, like, going through my old photos the other day, and I was just looking at it, and I was like, wow, I'm just going to post this because it just kind of shows, like, how crazy my development was over the years of high school. And I feel like people are always comparing themselves to other people on the internet, and that's not really something I dealt with in high school because social media wasn't really that popular, and people weren't, like, that open on the internet back then. So I think I just kind of wanted to, like, show how much your body changes in high school, because I feel like if I was constantly comparing myself to other people, I don't know what I would have done about it. But, you know, I don't know if I would have paid more attention to, like, how much my body was changing, how much I was growing, like, how many pounds I was gaining, you know. I gained 50 pounds over the course of those 4 years, but I never weighed myself. And I feel like if maybe I was growing up in this era, I would be, like, more focused on it, I guess. I don't know. And I just kind of wanted to show that how, like, common it is for people to grow in high school, and how you should, like, allow your body to grow, because it kept me healthy, like, not focusing on it so much and just kind of, like, letting my body do whatever it needs to do, like, grow and, you know, gain the weight and muscle I needed to. It kept me healthy for my running career, basically. Like, I had injuries here and there in high school just from growing so much, but in terms of, like, bone injuries, I've never had a bone injury because I was, like, fueling properly and let myself grow and develop as, like, a female runner. And I just wanted to show people how important that is in terms of long-term health, because I feel like a lot of people don't really take into account how much your body can change, especially in high school as a female runner.
Did you get feedback from young runners? I know that a lot of people reposted it, but have you heard from people in the community that it was significant for them?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of DMs, which I was just really shocked about how much it, like, resonated with people. Mm-hmm. Just because when I was posting it, I wasn't thinking that I was going to have the effect, you know? And I got a ton of responses from, like, young high school runners who maybe are, like, overly focused on, like, keeping their body in one place, or, like, worried about weight gain, or worried about, like, gaining too much muscle. And I think that post just kind of, like, helped them realize that it's healthy for you to do that at a time. And I'm really glad I posted the photo, because I think if it helps at least one person, I mean, it was worth it on my end. I don't know, it was crazy to see how many people, like, thought it was a positive thing, and I'm really glad that I ended up posting it. The good old pick stitch from 2013.
That's right, Mount Carmel.
Yeah. I'm curious how you arrived at kind of that, like, very healthy way of thinking, because like in the running community, obviously there's a lot of people get pushed in the other direction. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you ended up in that much more positive mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved food. I think that had a huge impact on it. Like, food is one of life's greatest pleasures, in my opinion. So, like, growing up, I ate so much food. Like, and I think that just, like, I couldn't imagine a life where I, like, restricted my food intake. And I think that really kept me healthy, like, over the years. And I mean, I was running super well, like, all the time. So I didn't want to change anything in terms of that. Like, I knew eating a lot helped me run, like, really well and kept me healthy as well. So I think that had a huge impact on it. And I also think, like, since I didn't have social media, I wasn't really comparing myself to other people. Like, even though, like, going to races, I would notice, like, I mean, by my senior year, I was 5'10". I was a lot bigger than a lot of the other cross-country runners I was racing against, just because a lot of females are 5'10". So, but I think I just realized, like, I don't know, every runner is different. Obviously, like, what I've been doing has been going really well, and I've been steadily improving my times, that I just didn't want to change anything. And I knew, like, the detrimental impacts that not eating enough had on people, and I saw it through, like, other runners, like, nationally that I was running against. Like, they would maybe run super well, but then get injured for years on end. I did not want that to happen to me, and that, plus my love of food, I think, and my confidence in just, like, my process kind of kept me sane in terms of that regard.
One of my favorite videos on your YouTube is your psyching yourself up before. I think it was your time trial, your 30-minute time trial.
It was.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I think everyone who's out there should go check out Emma's YouTube channel and see her psych herself up for her race.
Positive mental attitude, man. I don't even know what is that considered positive? I don't even know what it is. It's
yeah.
Just making myself not be a little wussy. So.
Self-talk.
Yeah.
Has self-talk always been something, has that always been a part of your process?
Not really, honestly. I feel like in college it became more of a thing, like, kind of like the visualization part of it. I never really used to do that in high school. I think I started my senior year of high school when I, like, had really firm goals my senior year, like, track season. I kind of started, imagining myself, like, winning these races and hitting these times, but that's not something I started doing until the end of high school. And then college is where, I don't actually do it in the mirror every time, I don't go into the mirror and be like, come on, Emma, that's a lot for the camera, I will say. But I definitely do a lot more visualization nowadays because I know how powerful it is, and I definitely realized, like, how powerful it was my senior year, just kind of, like, visualizing yourself succeeding in whatever race or accomplishing your goal. It kind of just sets the blueprint for whatever race it is. Like, you go into it, you're like, hey, I'm going to do this because I've already pictured myself doing it 5,000 times,
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not 5,000, but a couple, at least the night before. So I think that has, like, helped me in terms of, like, positive self-talk, because I know how much it impacts you, but it's something I still struggle with to this day. I mean, especially in, like, the long-term races, like, cross-country for me was pretty painful, like, meeting a miler or 1,500 runner. I think cross-country was a lot of self-talk. There's just a lot more time to think, and I did find myself at some points, kind of hitting that 3K mark, being like, oh, I don't feel good, I don't want to give up, so it's something I'm continuing to work on, and I think the triathlon training has helped me a lot, honestly, just push through that mental barrier of working out for long periods on end, because that's something I was not that great with in college. Like, my long run was 11 miles. But I think, like, the endurance sport and kind of getting more into that has really helped me in terms of mentality and the benefits of positive self-talk.
So I want to hear more about your YouTube channel. You have been doing this for 10 years now, is that right?
10 years? No.
Is that not right? I thought I saw that on your YouTube channel. I was like, were you 12? Was the internet a thing?
No. I started, actually, that's funny. So my YouTube channel, I started back in 2006, and it was a bracelet making YouTube channel. So there are some private videos now. If you type in youtube.com/awesomebracelets, it comes up to my YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So my YouTube channel used to be Awesome Bracelets. So there is no more bracelet content on there, but that's why my YouTube channel was made back in 2006.
Wait, were they like friendship bracelets? Like, what kind of bracelets were you? Okay, amazing.
They were awesome bracelets, Molly.
They were awesome.
They were awesome. There were some tutorials on there, but I didn't know that, like, it was gonna, like, that URL was gonna be my forever URL. I tried to change it so many times, and I was, like, embarrassed when I first started, because I started back in 2017, and when I got, I would say 5,000 subscribers, I was like, oh my gosh, my YouTube URL is youtube.com/awesomebracelets. So whenever like anyone goes to like send the link to my YouTube channel, it's awesome bracelets. Like that's so embarrassing. But now I don't care. I own it. I'm awesome bracelets. But yeah, I started back in 2017, going into my senior year of college. I wish I started earlier. Like I wish I documented that 2016 season of cross country, but you know, you live and you learn. But yeah.
What is building? Tell us the ingredients of building a YouTube channel. Like, what did you do, and what do you like ascribe your success to?
Okay, it's the same thing with the podcast. You know, the best thing that you do is just dive right in. Is what I've learned. Like there's never gonna be a perfect time. The amount of people who I've heard are like, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't know what to do. I'm like, I didn't know what to do either, but I just started one day. There are people around me. I was working for Run Gum. If you're familiar with like caffeinated energy gum company, it's pretty popular in the running world. But I was working for them, and the owner, the CEO, was like vlogging, and I was like, oh, I could do that. And I've always been an avid YouTube fan, so I was like, oh, I think I'm just gonna film a day in the life. So I picked up my phone. I didn't have anything. All I had was my phone. I picked up my phone and just started. I was like, hey guys. The first thing I said was, "What's up, fellas?" Which, don't ask me why I said that. I don't remember. I have no idea why I said that, but that kicked off the YouTube channel, filmed a day in the life, and pretty soon after that, it just kind of caught on, and I don't know if the YouTube algorithm, like I was blessed with that or whatever it was, but the Oregon clickbait also really helps. A lot of people want to see what's behind the scenes of Oregon, you know, it's so mysterious. But yeah, I think it was the combination of like, I was pretty consistent too, you know, I was posting every week and just kind of filming. It was more vlogging, like I was just filming days in the life. It was consistency, and I think my teammates also really helped. They're like characters in my vlogs, and you know, I had a few people on the team who liked being on the YouTube channel, and you know, everyone likes looking back on the videos from like my senior year of camp. It was so funny just to look back on the videos and be like, wow, it's crazy, you know, and I'm really glad I documented it. But I think it was this combination of consistency, the Oregon clickbait, and like the personalities, whether that's like, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but like my personality or people on my team, I think kind of really helped jumpstart the channel. And yeah, I mean, anyone could do it. I recommend starting one for everyone, and I'm really glad I did, because I just like looking back on it and seeing, like, documenting. I don't know, it's like a video journal, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I've been really enjoying the content you've been posting selfishly, like to get to see how your training's going. But now I'm definitely going to dive back into like the internet backlogs of awesome bracelet making and like camp from.
You should watch some of the old Oregon vlogs. Like they're great. I love they make me laugh every time.
Awesome.
It's good to reminisce on them.
Amazing.
How has the channel changed since you started it to now?
Yeah, so it's honestly been, I've had a hard time navigating it, just because I started the YouTube and like it had to do with my whole Oregon experience. Like my identity was Oregon runner, and teammates are in the vlogs. And then I graduated, I left school not even a year later, and then I just became like the Emma show. And you know, as much as I love talking about myself, like that's a joke by the way, but I do it a lot, hence like just because of it's my job. But I love when I have other people around me and like other people in the videos. So it became really hard for me to just kind of sustain it on my own. And I think a lot of people who, I don't know, do YouTube probably find this if they're like going into different life stages. And now it's just kind of become like, I don't know, 2 years of kind of finding like my identity again. And for so long, my identity was like Emma the runner, Emma the Oregon runner. And I think I'll always have like that part of me, but I have really like shifted the channel just kind of into like, I don't know, Emma the person. So a lot of it is like food content now. Like I love doing what I eat in a day because I'm obviously I love food. So, and it's a huge part of my life. And since I have the food Instagram, it's just fun to like kind of carry that over into YouTube. And I don't know, I've had a lot of like raw and like open videos on my channel because life after college has been really difficult for me, just in terms of like kind of finding what the next step is. And when I graduated college, I feel like I didn't really know what to expect. And I mean, everyone has different journeys, but it's been like I would say the ages of like 22 to 23 were really just kind of really challenging periods of my life, kind of finding my identity again. And I mean, I'm still going through it now that I'm 24, but I feel like I'm at a better place. But I think I'll look back at like my videos and be proud of me like documenting that time period, because even though it was like the most challenging time period of my life, I'm glad that, I don't know, I kind of showcased it, I guess. I mean, there was definitely positive parts of my channel as well, but I don't know, it's just been a crazy couple years. And it's, on one hand, I like don't know how I feel about, you know, documenting like all the struggles that I've gone through after college, because I feel like maybe that's a little bit too much of what my content has become. But like, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to keep it real too, and I kind of wanted to take people along my like life journey. And I think like the years ahead will be more positive than probably the first 2 years after college have been, and I'm excited to kind of document that journey, because I already feel like it's kind of on the upswing, you know. But it's been wild.
I think
All the different parts of the life that has been documented on the channel.
It's such a common experience too for people too, especially for people who have been so focused as younger adolescents and growing up as such a focused athlete, to come out of college and like not know exactly what comes next. So I'm sure people really relate to what you've gone through.
Yeah, and it was hard, honestly, like dealing with the negative comments that I would get, like especially when I first decided to stop running. I stopped term early at Oregon. I had a job already, and I was already graduating, and I was like, I felt like it was time for me to kind of move on. And like, I don't know, the year after that was just kind of me like battling with my own internal struggles, and like hearing negative feedback from people being like you're giving up on like your running career and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, I don't know, you just kind of have to like keep it, I don't know, you have to like focus on yourself and try not to read too much into those comments, because like for me, my whole life has been basically focused on athletics. Like I had basically no other interests in high school. Like it was so running focused, and in college too. College was so running focused that I needed the time period to kind of, you know, branch out of the running world. And the running world is like such a small little niche community, and it's hard to stay motivated for 20 years of your life. So I'm like personally glad that I took the break that I did, even though it was hard like dealing with some of the negative feedback that I got. But again, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a much better place now because I did that. And I want to show other people that it's like okay to take a break if you've been so wrapped up into sports, especially after college. Like a lot of people have an identity crisis, like you said, kind of in terms of like the sports, like going into a full-time job, it can be overwhelming. And I kind of wanted to make that, like, I don't know, kind of put it out into the world that it's like okay, and that I'm dealing with it too.
It's important. It makes people feel less alone. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing, could you give us an example of some of those, like a story of some of the struggle time between the end of college and now?
Yeah, so like right when I graduated, I mean, I was pretty burnt out. Like I felt like I was at my limit in terms of like mental capacity to be able to like push myself and like want to, you know, succeed in races and stuff. And um I think after that, like I had established myself on YouTube, and of course I was Emma the Oregon runner, and I didn't feel really confident enough to like just give that up and be like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, you know. And even though I knew I needed a break mentally, like physically I was fine, honestly. Like I wasn't injured, I wasn't really beat up. Um, but mentally, like I knew I needed to take a break. But I feel like social media was kind of wrapping me up into, and like, it wasn't even like people telling me that I should keep running. It was more just my own mentality of being like, hey, you have this identity now, you need to keep it up, you can't slack or anything. And I think it kind of like tormented me for at least a year, being like, you need to keep running, you need to like do this. And I moved to Atlanta, and I like was kind of deciding what I was gonna do. I hadn't really stopped running. I was like training on and off, but I was like, I need to stop running on one hand, and then on the other hand, I was like, try professional running, because you know that's what people do when they leave college. They go the professional route, even though that was not something I really was thinking about doing, or I don't know. But then it was just kind of enticing. I was living in Atlanta, and there was like an opportunity I was given, and I didn't really have many friends, and I like wasn't feeling super fulfilled in my job. And I think the combination of all that, I was like, well, running has been such a staple in my life, so I'm just gonna try professional running. So instead of taking the break I think I needed, I just jumped straight into professional running. And it just kind of like tormented me. I mean, like the Atlanta Triathlon experience, I think that program is awesome, and I think if I was like there now, I think it would have been a different story. But mentally, I feel like I was just not ready to keep pushing myself. And, like doing K repeats, in Atlanta was really hard for me mentally, and yeah, I think I just kind of struggled with that, and I ended up leaving Atlanta and then taking the long break I think I needed from running, and that really helped me. But I would say the 4 months after college, living in Atlanta was the hardest time of my life, for many reasons, like moving somewhere where I didn't know anyone. I basically had zero friends, which is sad to say, but I like thrive on, friendships and stuff and having people around, and living alone, having no friends really like brought like I don't know, sadness into my life, and trying to fill that with running wasn't working because running was still causing me stress, and yeah, that was like one of the biggest struggle periods of my life, I would say. That's really dramatic. It sounds dramatic, but
sounds hard.
Yeah,
no,
it was
I think
difficult.
Yeah, I think like Molly said, it's probably pretty normal, but still that doesn't make it any easier, and thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I haven't really talked about it that much. I mean, I've talked about kind of my Atlanta experience, but I didn't really want to showcase it because I didn't want people knowing like how, I don't know, like unhappy I was after college because I had made the decision to like stop running early and all this stuff. So, and I mean, I had some good times in Atlanta, and there were some like perks of my job, and there were definitely some positive experiences, but mentally I feel like I was just not in a great place there. But I don't know, taking the break and moving a couple times has definitely helped my mentality. So
We got a comment from, not a question, but a comment from chat. Somebody, Ely1230 says, Emma, you have helped me so much with my body image as a runner. I'm a few years younger and definitely think social media was more prevalent in high school for me. I really struggled accepting my body because I'm not built like a typical distance runner. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I love to hear that because like it's comments like that keep me going, honestly. And like reading DMs and seeing that, putting out my content, even though sometimes I feel like it's cringe. Like even if it helps one person, it's worth it. So
it's never cringe, Emma. It's never cringe.
There's some cringy times. Sometimes I record an Instagram story, I'm like, woof. Yikes. Post.
Just go ahead. Just send it out.
Yeah.
That's definitely, it's the seriousness with which you take all of your posts is definitely the thing that people come back is the, how seriously you are, or how serious you are
really
and how you present yourself.
Yeah, really serious business, like always.
We also have a good question here from VT, who is one of our favorite plants, obviously. She says that, so is community and culture important to you in sport, and do you notice different vibes between the running and triathlon scenes? Which I'm also curious to know the answer to.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a huge part of my life. Like, living in Portland right now, all of my friends are runners, whether that be professional runners or washed up runners just like me. We all have, like, a little community, and honestly, it's, like, what I thrive on. I don't even know what it is about it. I think it's just, like, sharing a common experience, and I don't know, everyone, it's just such a small world, everyone knows each other, so it's a huge part of my life, and I thrive on it. Obviously a lot of my content is related to it, and I just love talking with people and hearing people's stories, so it's one of my favorite things. Even though we're all like weird and quirky, it gives me life. In terms of the triathlon community, I'm slowly starting to dive in, I would say like triathletes are more intense. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, the fact that you guys are like, I don't know, you have the Ironman distance and there's a lot more exercise. I don't know if that's what makes it more intense. But, I mean, I haven't been in that long, so it seems like the triathlon community is more disciplined. Maybe that's just me being naive. I don't know. I don't have enough triathlon friends yet, I think, to kind of see. But everyone's always on their grind. 2 workouts a day usually. I was talking to Morgan Pearson, who's doing like IT racing or like Olympic hopeful, and he works out for 28 hours a week. So compared to like most runners, it's the professional ones I'm living with right now are like 10 max. So I don't know. It's just a different sport. even though it share a lot of similarities. And Morgan used to be a runner, but I think it just takes a lot more discipline just to work out for that much. Not that 28 hours is the standard, but
it's logistically challenging. I think what happens is like, I think the triathletes are like, okay, there's only so many hours a day, and like I have to be okay in 3 sports rather than like good at one of them.
Exactly.
And that just takes a lot of time, and so I think triathletes are always like rushing to get to the next thing, and then they just become kind of like intense people.
No, I think that is so true. Or on the weekends, like the difference between like going for a long run, you know, an hour and 20 minutes, or going for a 3+ hour workout is a lot different. So, you know, you can't stay up that late at night because, I don't know, even with my friends, I'm like, oh, I can't like be out super late because I have to work out for 3 hours tomorrow morning. They're like, we have a long run. I'm like, yeah, you guys are working out for half the time. So I think it's just like, yeah, logistically, and the hours put in are a little bit longer. So it just kind of is the nature of the sport. But I don't know. Maybe I'll make more triathlon friends and see something different.
You will never go to brunch again.
You will, but it'll be at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I realized. I started my workouts and man, the day's already over.
Right.
Yeah.
What's been something that that you've been surprised about, that you've really enjoyed about triathlon training as you've gotten more into it? Like your volume's picked up in the last couple of weeks, and your intensity's picked up, and I feel like you've gotten a pretty good like landscape view of what triathlon training is like at this point. What are you really liking about it?
Yeah, I think that honestly, this is funny, but I honestly kind of like the discipline part of it. Like, I like being occupied with workouts. I don't know if that's just the nature of, like, I really enjoyed college, like the fact that I was always busy running around doing something, and I think running, you know, there's a lot of free time. So, you know, you run once, maybe twice a day, you know, I don't know, 12 miles or something, and that takes up an hour and a half. And then I think I like having 2 different workouts every day because gives me less time to, you know, goof off in the middle of the day. So that's one thing, is I just like having more like structure and having my days be structured around exercise. And I've come to like the long stuff. I don't know what it is, but you know, in college I would get to I would get to an hour on my long run, and I would be like, I'm so ready for this to be over. And it would always be, once I hit that 60 minutes, I was like, all right, 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, I'm ready to be done. But then, like, going for a 45-minute run today, which was, like, my standard run in college, like, that felt super easy. I was like, oh, short run today, 45 minutes. And 45 minutes was, like, oh, long for me in college. So I think I've actually come to like the long stuff, which is kind of crazy for me to say. I feel like once I start getting to, like, long tempos, then that might change my mind. Considering tempos aren't usually my forte, but maybe I'll get better at them.
Yeah, everyone loves long periods of suffering. It's great.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Who doesn't?
Right? Chris is like, I love tempo.
I love that you said it gives you more time to goof off, and you run a successful YouTube channel, a burgeoning podcast, a successful and profitable Instagram account. How much time do you have to goof off? Do you? I imagine that you spend a lot of time editing, putting things together, technical stuff. Like, what is the process of assembling all of that content like?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like I could do more work. I feel like especially during this like quarantine when there has been no outside distractions, I haven't put as much work in as I should have. I was spending a lot of time, 3 p.m. came around, I'm like, I'm gonna watch some Love Island in my bed, like, just watch some TV. But it's gotten better over time, but I think, like, I put out a lot of content, as anyone could probably tell. I feel like people can't keep up, which, I don't know, I'm trying to find, like, a balance of what's good and what's too much content, but a lot of it is, like, fun for me. Like, doing the food Instagram stuff is almost effortless. I enjoy posting on Instagram, and I enjoy eating, and I enjoy taking pictures of my food, so it just all is, like, fun, and I don't even see it as work. And I would say, like, the food Instagram takes up, I don't know, an hour of my day maybe, and the rest of the day is kind of left up to either, like, if I'm recording the podcast, which is an hour, editing takes a couple hours, but that's only one of the days of the week. And then YouTube is, I would say, the biggest time investment, and it's something I haven't been as focused on during quarantine, just because I was getting the podcast up and running, and I just wasn't really as into filming myself, especially because it's only me. Like, I mean, I was living alone. It was only me, and I was like, how much do people want to see of just me talking to a camera? So I think YouTube can like be as big of a time suck as you make it, but if I'm posting like one video a week, you know, it's usually like a day of filming, and then I spend the next day editing, so that takes up like 2 days of my week. I don't know. It's like I'm always on the clock, but it's like I'm also never on the clock. It's a weird balance, but I don't really see a lot of it as work, so it doesn't. I don't really ever feel burnt out, and if I do, I don't really pressure myself to keep posting. You know, I'll take breaks if I need to.
Awesome. Well, I think we have so many questions that we haven't been able to get to. For those of you who are out there and are just getting to know Emma, make sure you check out her Instagram stream or Instagram at Emma Abrahamson, and One Crazed Foodie is the food-focused one. So go check that out. Steal all of her bean recipes. Make yourself some bean brownies and cookie dough and all that. And check out her YouTube. I dropped the link into chat. But Emma, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I feel like we could have talked to you for hours still, and we had so many questions we didn't even get to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
No, it's great. This has been awesome. We really appreciate it.
You're a podcast host. You know that somebody who talks a lot is like gold.
I know. It is nice. So thanks for having me on, though. This was fun.
Yeah, this is the last. Thank you. We will definitely have you back on to cover all the stuff that we didn't get to.
Once racing is a thing again, too, and you can stop being patient and start being racy.
That's true. I'm excited for that day.
It's happening. It's happening.
Well, everybody go and watch Emma psych herself up for a 30-minute time trial. We will go ahead and drop that on all the CDC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks all for being here. Don't forget to come back tomorrow morning, ABVT Yoga, 6:30 in the morning, and then join us for Zwift Community Ride Thursday morning, also at 6:30. But until all those things happen, thanks for joining us, and here's to a happier and faster tomorrow. Thanks so much, Emma.